In our hyper-connected world, where notifications demand our attention every few seconds and the pace of life seems to accelerate with each passing day, we've lost touch with something profoundly essential. We've forgotten the transformative power of stillness. Today, we're going to explore how this ancient practice holds the key to unlocking infinite possibilities in your life. The great philosopher Lao Tzu once wrote in the Tao Te Ching, "In stillness, the muddy water clears." This isn't just poetic language. It's a fundamental truth about how our minds work and how we can access our deepest potential. When we create space for stillness, we allow the mental sediment of daily life to settle, revealing the crystal-clear waters of insight, creativity, and wisdom that lie beneath. But what exactly do we mean by stillness? It's not merely the absence of movement or sound. True stillness is a state of inner quiet where the constant chatter of our minds subsides, where we step back from the endless stream of thoughts, worries, and plans that typically occupy our consciousness. It's in this space of quiet awareness that we discover our most profound insights and access possibilities we never knew existed. The science behind stillness. Modern neuroscience has begun to validate what mystics and philosophers have known for centuries. When we engage in practices that cultivate stillness, meditation, contemplation, or simply sitting quietly, remarkable changes occur in our brains. The default mode network, responsible for self-referential thinking and mental wandering, becomes less active. Meanwhile, areas associated with attention, emotional regulation, and self-awareness strengthen. Dr. Sarah Lazar's groundbreaking research at Massachusetts General Hospital showed that just 8 weeks of meditation practice led to measurable changes in brain structure. Participants showed increased gray matter density in regions associated with learning, memory, and emotional regulation. The amygdala, our brain's alarm system, actually shrunk, leading to reduced stress and anxiety responses. But the benefits extend far beyond neurological changes. In stillness, we tap into what psychologist Mihai Csikszentmihalyi calls flow states, those moments of effortless concentration where our best ideas emerge and our most creative work happens. Athletes know this as being in the zone, while artists describe it as channeling inspiration from some deeper source. Consider the story of Lin-Manuel Miranda, creator of the musical Hamilton. The initial inspiration for this revolutionary Broadway show didn't come during a brainstorming session or a writing retreat. It came while he was reading a biography of Alexander Hamilton on vacation, in a moment of leisure and mental stillness. His mind, freed from the usual pressures and distractions, was able to make the creative leap that would transform American theater. This illustrates a crucial principle. Our best ideas often emerge not when we're forcing them, but when we create space for them to arise naturally. As the ancient Chinese proverb says, "The best way to catch a fish is not to chase it, but to make the water so clear that the fish comes to you." Ancient wisdom, timeless truth. The understanding of stillness as a pathway to infinite possibilities isn't new. It's woven throughout the wisdom traditions of the world, from the Hindu concept of mauna, or sacred silence, to the Christian mystic tradition of contemplative prayer, to the Buddhist practice of mindfulness meditation. The Bhagavad Gita speaks of this state beautifully. When the mind is at rest in the stillness of deep meditation, the self is revealed in all its glory. This isn't referring to some mystical experience reserved for advanced practitioners. It's describing a fundamental aspect of human consciousness that's available to all of us when we learn to quiet the mental noise. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, understood this deeply. In his personal journal, which became the book Meditations, he wrote, "Confine yourself to the present." He recognized that stillness wasn't about escaping reality, but about returning to the present moment where all real power and possibility reside. The Zen tradition offers perhaps the most direct approach to this understanding. The practice of just sitting, or shikantaza, involves sitting in stillness without trying to achieve anything specific. As Zen Master Dogen taught, just sit, and enlightenment will come. This isn't passive waiting. It's an active engagement with the present moment that opens us to insights and possibilities we couldn't access through thinking alone. The paradox of effort and effortlessness. One of the most profound aspects of cultivating stillness is understanding the paradox it presents. We live in a culture that prizes effort, action, and constant productivity. The idea that some of our greatest breakthroughs might come through doing less rather than more challenges are fundamental assumptions about success and achievement. The Taoist concept of Wu Wei, often translated as non-action or effortless action, points to this paradox. It doesn't mean being passive or lazy. Rather, it means aligning ourselves with the natural flow of life, acting when action is needed, and resting when rest serves us better. It's like learning to sail. Sometimes you need to adjust the sails and change direction, but often the most skillful thing to do is simply let the wind carry you forward. Einstein understood this principle intuitively. Some of his greatest insights came not during intense study sessions, but during leisurely walks or while playing violin. He once said, "A new idea comes suddenly and in a rather intuitive way, but intuition is nothing but the outcome of earlier intellectual experience." The stillness provided the space for his accumulated knowledge to reorganize itself into breakthrough insights. This principle applies equally to our daily lives. How often have you struggled with a problem for hours, only to have the solution appear effortlessly while you're taking a shower or going for a walk? The shower didn't solve your problem, the stillness did. When we stop forcing and start allowing, we create the conditions for insight to emerge naturally. Practical pathways to stillness. Understanding the value of stillness is one thing. Actually cultivating it in our busy lives is another. The good news is that stillness doesn't require hours of meditation or retreating to a mountain cave. It can be woven into the fabric of our daily existence in simple, practical ways. Start with what Buddhist teacher Pema Chodron calls gap moments. Those brief spaces between activities where we can pause and reconnect with the present moment. Instead of immediately reaching for your phone when you wake up, spend 2 minutes simply lying still and noticing your breath. Before starting your car, take 3 deep breaths and set an intention for your journey. These micro-practices of stillness can have profound cumulative effects. The practice of morning pages, popularized by Julia Cameron in The Artist's Way, offers another pathway. By writing 3 pages of stream of consciousness thoughts first thing in the morning, we clear the mental clutter and create space for clarity and creativity to emerge. It's not about producing great writing. It's about emptying the mind of its habitual chatter. Walking meditation, practiced in many Buddhist traditions, transforms an ordinary activity into a gateway to stillness. Instead of walking with your mind racing ahead to your destination, you walk with full attention to each step, each breath, each sensation. The rhythm of walking naturally calms the nervous system and creates space for insight. Even everyday activities can become opportunities for stillness when approached with mindful awareness. Washing dishes becomes a meditation on the sensation of warm water and the movement of your hands. Drinking tea becomes a practice in presence and gratitude. As Thich Nhat Hanh beautifully expresses it, drink your tea slowly and reverently, as if it is the axis on which the world Earth revolves, slowly, evenly, without rushing toward the future. Overcoming the resistance to stillness. Despite understanding its benefits intellectually, many of us find it surprisingly difficult to embrace stillness. Our minds seem to resist the very thing that would most benefit us. This resistance is natural and understandable. We've been conditioned to believe that constant activity equals productivity and worth. The fear of boredom often drives this resistance. We've become so accustomed to constant stimulation that the absence of entertainment or distraction feels uncomfortable, even threatening. But as the poet Rainer Maria Rilke counseled, perhaps all the dragons in our lives are princesses who are only waiting to see us act, just once, with beauty and courage. What we often label as boredom might actually be the doorway to deeper understanding and creativity. There's also the fear of what we might discover in stillness. When the external noise quiets down, internal voices become more audible, including those we've been trying to avoid. But this isn't a bug in the system. It's a feature. Stillness provides a safe space to acknowledge and integrate aspects of our experience that we've been pushing aside. As Carl Jung observed, everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. The key is to approach stillness with gentle persistence rather than forceful determination. Start small. Even 30 seconds of conscious breathing can be a beginning. The Zen saying, "You should sit in meditation for 20 minutes every day, unless you're too busy, then you should sit for an hour," contains profound wisdom about our relationship with time and priority. Stillness as a gateway to innovation. In our innovation-obsessed culture, we often overlook stillness as a source of breakthrough thinking. Yet history is filled with examples of revolutionary ideas emerging from moments of quiet contemplation rather than intense brainstorming sessions. The story of Archimedes discovering the principle of displacement while relaxing in his bath is legendary, but it illustrates a fundamental truth about how insight works. The solution didn't come through harder thinking. It came when his mind was relaxed and receptive. The famous Eureka moment wasn't the result of effort, but of allowing. Similarly, the structure of benzene was discovered by German chemist August Kekulé after he had a dream of a snake eating its own tail, a vision that came during a state of relaxed awareness, not active problem-solving. The double helix structure of DNA was partly inspired by Rosalind Franklin's X-ray crystallography work, but the final insight came to James Watson and Francis Crick during informal discussions and moments of reflection. In the business world, many successful entrepreneurs credit their breakthrough ideas to moments of stillness. Reid Hoffman, founder of LinkedIn, developed the initial concept during a quiet walk. The idea for Airbnb came to its founders during a period of financial struggle when they were forced to slow down and reconsider their approach. This isn't coincidental. Innovation requires the ability to see familiar things in new ways, to make connections between previously unrelated concepts. This kind of creative thinking thrives in states of relaxed awareness rather than pressured performance. When we're constantly doing, we're operating from our existing patterns and habits. When we're being, we open ourselves to new possibilities. The ripple effects of stillness. The benefits of cultivating stillness extend far beyond individual insight and creativity. When we develop a practice of inner quietude, it affects every aspect of our lives and relationships. We become more present with others, more capable of deep listening, more able to respond rather than react to challenging situations. Consider the impact of a teacher who embodies stillness. Students immediately sense the difference between someone who is frantically trying to cover material and someone who is grounded in presence and deep understanding. The latter creates a learning environment where students feel safe to take intellectual risks, ask questions, and explore ideas. The teacher's inner stillness becomes a container for learning and growth. In leadership, the principle is equally powerful. Leaders who have cultivated inner stillness make decisions from a place of clarity rather than reactivity. They're able to see the bigger picture, consider multiple perspectives, and act with wisdom rather than impulse. As the ancient Chinese strategist Sun Tzu wrote, "The supreme excellence is not to win 100 battles. The supreme excellence is to subdue the enemy without fighting." This kind of strategic thinking emerges from stillness, not from agitation. The practice of stillness also transforms our relationship with time itself. Instead of feeling constantly rushed and behind, we begin to experience what the Greeks called kairos, qualitative time, as opposed to chronos, quantitative time. In stillness, 5 minutes can feel like an eternity of peace, while 5 hours of frantic activity can pass without leaving any meaningful impression. Integrating stillness into modern life. The challenge isn't understanding the value of stillness. It's finding ways to honor this understanding in a culture that rewards constant motion. This requires both individual commitment and structural changes in how we organize our lives and work. Start by examining your relationship with technology. The average person checks their phone over 150 times per day, creating a state of continuous partial attention that's the antithesis of stillness. Consider implementing phone-free zones in your home or specific times when you disconnect entirely. The fear of missing out is often a fear of missing the richness of present moment experience. Create rituals that naturally invite stillness into your daily rhythm. This might be as simple as drinking your morning coffee without simultaneously checking email, or taking 3 conscious breaths before entering your workplace. Ritual transforms ordinary actions into opportunities for presence and reflection. The Japanese concept of ma, the pregnant pause, the meaningful space between things, offers another approach. Instead of rushing from one activity to the next, practice creating small gaps of stillness between tasks. These transitions become opportunities to reset, center, and approach the next activity with fresh awareness. In work environments, advocate for practices that honor both productivity and presence. This might mean starting meetings with a minute of silence, taking walking meetings instead of sitting in conference rooms, or building brief periods of reflection into project timelines. The companies that are beginning to integrate contemplative practices into their cultures, like Google with its mindfulness programs or Salesforce with its meditation rooms, are discovering that stillness enhances rather than diminishes performance. The infinite field of possibility. As we near the end of our exploration, it's important to recognize that stillness isn't a destination. It's a way of traveling. It's not something we achieve once and then possess forever. Rather, it's a quality of awareness we can cultivate and return to again and again, especially when life feels overwhelming or when we've lost touch with our deeper wisdom. The infinite possibilities that stillness reveals aren't external opportunities waiting to be discovered. They're the vast potential that exists within us when we're not limiting ourselves through habitual thinking and reactive patterns. In stillness, we remember who we are beneath the roles we play and the stories we tell ourselves. We connect with what the mystics called the uncarved block, our original nature before it was shaped by conditioning and expectation. The great Sufi poet Rumi captured this beautifully when he wrote, "In your light I learn how to love, in your beauty how to make poems. You dance inside my chest where no one sees you, but sometimes I do, and that sight becomes this art, this music, this form." The you he's addressing is the deeper self that becomes visible in moments of inner stillness, the source of all creativity and wisdom. This isn't about escaping from the world, but about engaging with it more fully. When we cultivate stillness, we're not checking out, we're checking in. We're developing the capacity to remain centered in the midst of chaos, to find peace in the storm, to access wisdom in moments of confusion. The path forward is both simple and profound. Begin where you are with whatever capacity for stillness you currently possess. 5 minutes of conscious breathing is infinitely more valuable than an hour of meditation you never do. The key is consistency rather than duration, presence rather than perfection. Remember that every moment offers a fresh opportunity to choose stillness over reactivity, presence over distraction, being overdoing. In a world that profits from your constant motion, your commitment to stillness becomes a radical act of self-care and spiritual rebellion. As you leave here today, carry with you this invitation. In your next quiet moment, whether it's waiting in line, sitting in traffic, or lying in bed before sleep, instead of reaching for distraction, reach for stillness. Notice what emerges in that space. Trust what you find there. The infinite possibilities you seek aren't somewhere else. They're right here, right now, waiting in the stillness of this very moment. The journey into stillness is deeply personal, yet it's enriched by community and shared experience. I'd love to hear about your own relationship with stillness. What draws you to it? What challenges you face in cultivating it? Or any insights you've discovered in moments of quiet awareness. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your experience might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. If you found value in this exploration of stillness and would like to continue this journey together, please subscribe for more content on mindfulness, spiritual growth, and practical wisdom for modern living. Sometimes the most important conversations happen in the quiet spaces between words, and I'm honored to share that silence with you. Remember, in a world full of noise, your stillness is not just a personal practice. It's a gift to everyone around you.